Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. We are doing an emergency session with the man who called the 9 CPI, Mr. Greg Dickerson. The reason he's here today is he has always told us good times never last, bad times never last. Our first video today was kind of scary. Greg, I want to make video number 2 encouraging. I want people to realize that the opportunities that are coming are going to be plentiful if we are open to them. So how do we do that? How do we feel better about what is coming?
Yeah. So, there's different listeners, obviously. They're the ones that are, like we talked about, paycheck to paycheck, that, are really feeling the effects of this inflation. It's affecting their lives in every area. So for those people, just, hang in there, because the Fed is attacking inflation. They're going to bring that down, bring demand down, to bring prices down. We're already seeing it in fuel. We're already seeing it in commodities, lumber, things like that. We will see it in food once we get through the summer months. Food always goes up in the summer because everybody's cooking out and doing all that, those types of things. So, and from a recessionary standpoint, understand what recession is. People hear that word and they get afraid. They fear what recession is. And if you look at the last couple of them, we've been through the 2001 dot-com bubble and 2009 recession. Pandemic, you can't really count because that was just, doesn't really count. Recession is multi-year, job loss, business going out of business, all that type of thing. The really cool thing about now is there's way more opportunities now, and it's way easier to fill the holes and the gaps than it was before and back then during those times. You can, all kinds of things you can do part-time, online, without having to go anywhere, to subsidize your income. So, you can do spreadsheets for people. You can manage social media. You can edit videos. You can do, there's just so many thumbnails. You can make, an extra $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month, whatever you want, doing thumbnails, running paid social media ads. It's called being a media buyer, doing just social media management, writing blogs for people, writing Twitter threads for people, doing copywriting. Copywriting is one of the highest paid skills out there in the internet world. There's a lot of different things from that aspect. And then in the physical world, people are still paying to have their yards cut and have, mulch put down and have their pools cleaned and have their house painted and, all those other, handyman stuff, change their, So there's still opportunities out there based on your abilities and your skill set to get out there and earn extra money to kind of help bolster and get through this time. And that's what's going to keep us from really falling real deep, is because of the gig economy. Mm-hmm. The way this is a skill-based economy now is that, the Great Resignation, right? All of those people leaving obviously are figuring out how to make ends meet elsewhere, or that wouldn't be happening. And, from trading stocks to trading crypto, there's all kinds of different things you can learn how to do to make money to survive that we didn't have back in those past two situations. So from that standpoint, I don't see a depression ever like we saw in 1929 without some sort of World War III type of event. Yeah, right. Yeah. I think that's probably the only thing that could actually plunge you into that kind of situation, because it's such a big global economy, and we are, connected globally, from a commerce standpoint. And there's a little bit of deglobalization going on, but not on the internet, not online, so there's so many opportunities out there to do other things. So, build your skills, educate yourself, and, get out there and take action. And, this will blow through, and, the Fed has to do their thing, has to get down. And then once it's down, boom, we'll be off to the races again. And it'll be just like we've seen every 10 to 15 to 20 years, you see these cycles.
Yeah. Yeah, you remind me of this first one about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett was quoted as saying, if you want to increase your net worth and income by 50%, basically invest in public speaking and writing, right? Basically communication.
Yeah.
Right. Again, great side hustles, great side gigs. Again,
sales. So there's people out there selling courses and this and that and the other, and you can just do nothing but take phone calls, and help enroll people in these programs. You can make $100,000 a year working, 5-10 hours a week, depending on who you're working with. And there's companies out there that'll train you and they'll place you with, I'll just use some examples like Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, groups like that kind of take those calls. And, Frank Kern, look at all the internet marketers out there, and then all these other coaches and, mentors selling programs that do that. Just answering phone calls and learning how to, explain to people the program they're enrolling for, get them enrolled. And you can make, $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 for some of these programs. Yeah. In the real estate investing world, there's groups out there that teach, multifamily investing, all those types of things, where you can, go to work for them as a consultant and help enroll people in their masterminds, their groups, their events, and, just take phone calls, when you can, 2 or 3 hours a day in a period of time,
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that you've taught me, you've taught the audience, I just want to hit again for new viewers, is In recessions, again, wealth is truly built. But it's really, if you understand that buying or acquiring assets, it's not always about price. It's about terms. And again, when you find somebody who needs to sell in a bad market, terms oftentimes are the answer. And I just want you to hit that again, whether it's buying a small business, whether it's rolling up businesses. You talk about rolling up several businesses into this umbrella company, all with terms, all delayed financing, it's just amazing. And whether it's real estate terms are things to get good at in a recession. You don't take all your money, throw all your cash at one deal. Learn terms. This is going to be years. And I think terms are going to be the way to get assets in this cycle. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. And especially because asset prices have, elevated so much, there's a lot of sellers, especially in real estate, that's a little more sticky, takes a lot more time for them to understand where values are. So if there's an opportunity and they're not willing to sell at market value, which is below where they're at for cash or whatever, then say, look, I'll give you what you're asking for, but let me make payments until, I give you your number. So, Michael, I'll pay you $10 million for your house if you let me pay you $10,000 a year for however many years it takes to get to 10 million.
Exactly.
So,
terms.
It's all about the terms and those types of things. And then, roll up strategies. You can roll up different kinds of businesses, and then sell them off. You can roll up properties. That's Grant Cardone's model, roll up nice apartment buildings and hopefully sell them to a BlackRock or somebody down the road.
Yep.
So you collect things of values, to either put together and hang on to, and you have some nice cash flows, or you send them on down the road. And there's so many different ways. I mean, everything is negotiable. What you need is a motivated seller. You need somebody that's willing to do the deal, that's motivated, or they don't want to pay taxes and they want income, but they don't want to run the business.
Yep.
Those types of things. So
there's
always some way to make a deal work, and you can be creative. And here's the biggest thing is that if you don't ask or you don't offer, you will never get. You have to ask for what you want. You have to offer what you have, or you'll never get anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if we've talked about this, but I believe in this so much. I'm actually spending time on marketing. So what I'm trying to buy over the next year or so is residential, because I only want 30-year fixed rate debt. I'm only looking to buy duplexes through quads. So I'm actually marketing. I'm going to market the housing crash is coming. I'm telling people we're still buying, and then we're hitting the seller financing on the back of the card, right? Lock in your profits, maintain income, lower taxes, and less headaches and stress. I'm going to buy as many of these as I can. And my goal is 10% down only. And, I'm spending $1,000 a month hitting, a couple of thousand owners. And as this environment, I've already started, they started delivering this week. It's going to take multiple of these, but I promise you in 6, 7, 8 months with all the negative headlines, there will be some owners of duplexes through quads. It's like, okay, I'm out. Let me call this kid and see what he's talking about.
So is this your blended, formula that you're using?
Yeah. 50, 40, 10s. I'll do. Hey, if somebody if an owner owned it free and clear, wanted to finance it 90%, I'll do that all day long. I just think most of them are going to want more cash, because the key to what I'm trying to do is I'm going to take my pile of capital and I'm only going to buy with 10% down. And I'm going to get a blended interest rate below 5%.
Yeah.
That's what I'll be doing.
You can do that with commercial properties too.
Absolutely.
All day long. You can get 60, 70% from the bank or from a mortgage broker that, gets you conduit loans or whatever. And, same thing, you do a 60, 70% first from a lender, then you get
second,
as much owner financing as you can, and then come up with the rest yourself or raise that from an investor. So, get good at raising capital, get good at understanding the deals, what a good deal looks like, make sure it cash flows, make sure it fits your parameters, and, get it done however you can get it done, even if it's temporary. Say, hey, Mr. Seller, give me 6 months, give me a year to pull this thing off. And do a subject to, do an owner finance, whatever you can do.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell people here in this second video, I know I'm excited. I believe Greg is excited. We've been waiting for this, right? Real wealth, real asset building is done in recessions. That's where we've made our biggest moves. It's coming again. This one's probably, I think it'll be the longest one I've experienced. And I've experienced both of the ones that we talked about earlier. And I'm going to use terms. It's not about price. I care very little about price. I want the terms. And I'm so excited for what's coming. I hope people are prepared. It is scary, right? If you're under 40, this might hurt. If you went into meme stocks or out on the leverage scale, and you're going to have some marks. Believe I've done it. I lost 80% of my stack back in the .com crash, so I get it. But learn the lesson. Be better. You're going to experience a couple of these in your lifetime. And again, recessions are where wealth is built. So Greg, wrap us up and tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing too, like with businesses, those are the easiest with creative
Yes.
financing, because a lot of times people are they're just done, ready to walk away. You can come in, take it over, just with payments. You can get vendors to provide capital. So, whoever they're buying from, you're buying from, you can say, look, they'll give you 30, 60, 90-day terms. Sometimes they'll give you some advances, to help, as long as you're buying stuff from them. So there's a lot of different ways you can finance business acquisitions too. But you got to know the business. You got to make sure it's it's going to survive a recession, which, essential businesses, pandemic, recession, all those things. You want to make sure it's essential. It's, well located. You have the opportunity to grow and scale and whatever you're looking to do, operate it yourself if you have to, have absentee, ownership, whatever. But anyways, a lot of different opportunities out there. So, these are the times when, you want to build your skill sets, build a new business, build a new company, and be ready for when the economy turns, because we've seen what happens when it turns, man.
Oh yeah. Good times.
A long time.
Yeah. Well, Greg, I really appreciate you coming back for this emergency session. Thank you so much. You called 991. You nailed it. It is scary times. If you've not been through it, we get it, but there really is so many opportunities, and please invest in yourself, learn terms. It's not all about price. Follow Greg, reach out to him. He has great programs. Greg, where can people find you?
Yeah. All my info is on my website, gregdickerson.com, YouTube channel, all that stuff. Go check it out.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Take care.
Yep.